All right, books to read for a better theology of tech part 2. We are going to start with the old stuff again. Now is where we're going to get to Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman. Again, read Technopoly before you read this. This is a great book, lots of highlights, and it's going to show kind of like what modern day media is doing to us as a society through the lens of what modern day media is to society. Very important book, that kind of stuff. In that vein, because much of our media is online, if you have not read Ryan Holiday's Trust Me, I'm Lying, I really question whether or not you know how the internet media works. This guy was on to stuff way before, like we had scrolling algorithmic feeds. This is a foundational book to be able to kind of understand some of that stuff. And Ryan's a really good guy anyway. He went on this kind of stoic bent. I find his non-stoic stuff to be much more fascinating, but that's his stuff, and he's still a great writer and a great personality. You should definitely read Ryan Holiday. Trust Me, I'm Lying. I think there's a newer copy which is all red and stuff like that, but I like this paperback because he's got like the picture where he's like smoking, which apparently is a ballpoint pen. It's not actually him smoking, and then there's this monster in the back. I like Ryan. Ryan's cool, that kind of stuff. And then we're going to get to, especially considering where the church went with technology over the last couple of years, we're going to do Post-Corona, which is Scott Galloway's book after the four that we mentioned last thing, after this guy. You're going to read this to kind of see where his thoughts and predictions on technology went at the same time where the church's thoughts about technology went when, a massive stressor to the system came in. Post-Corona was a real fascinating read. Scott's really insightful. I think it'll help you think about technology more deeply. But since you stuck with me for 7 books now, we're going to give you some fiction. Now, it's a tricky read. I recommend the audiobook because the first 8 chapters are just dry and boring and slow. And Lewis does a real good job of building a world, which means you have to get bored first before any action happens. But C.S. Lewis is that hideous strength. It's part of the space trilogy. You don't need to read all 3. That's some hardcore sci-fi in the other 2. But C.S. Lewis's hideous strength. This is a nigh on prophetic book about what a technological or scientific mind does to society if given free rein. What if technology and the sciences are given kind of full reign of society the way war or the Department of Defense is in a time of war. And so this is terrifying. A lot of the stuff that he fictionalized in here came true, but it's also fantastic. Merlin shows up. It's always nice when, you have druids from, King Arthur times in England showing up to, make sure that God is worshipped properly and that technology doesn't take over the world. It's disturbingly poignant in today's society, and a lot of people point that out. But you could, read it. It's good. You should totally read this. That's part 2. We're going to get to part 3 after.